because I actually talked too long. That's fine. Then we'll start shortly after 9 o'clock, and then we'll go from there. So.
Okie dokie.
Has happened to the screens. Why are you doing this? I don't know what happened. No, I'm not on there now. Nope. I was back. No, I'm not. What is happening? There we are. I don't know. I'm blinking in and out. It's weird. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it is a portal to another. What is going on tonight? Oh no. It's being weird tonight. All right, we'll keep an eye on it. But we are going to get through to this interview because this interview is worth watching. I'm telling you what. Amber, what's happening in your space right now? There's a lot going on right now. What do you focus on? Yeah. Okay. That's a lot. She isn't coming across in audio. Oh no. What is happening? Hold on. We're gonna figure it out. I promise. Hold on. I hear her. We're gonna figure it out. I don't know what's going on. I hear her fine. So I don't know what's going on. Coming across. Why are you not coming across? Oh, I see. You are not coming across. Why are you not coming across?
I'll just entertain with a little dance.
Right? What did I miss? Why is it not coming to audio? Why is it not coming to audio? What's going on? I don't know what's going on.
Coming across in audio, so they're just hearing your side.
Now. I hear you, but not her. I think they're just hearing my side right now. I hear you, but not her. What is happening? So if that's the case, look over. So if that's the case, and look over here, and go. 1 second. Nope. 1 second.
That's okay. I'm just gonna dance and entertain everybody.
Nope. No, so I apologize. There you go. What we're working no, so I apologize for those that can't hear. What we're working on right now is a friend of mine has built an entire backbone of the entire streaming service right now. Backbone of our streaming service right now. And normally we haven't had any issues yet. So this is different. Okay, I'm just going to double check to make sure that her stuff. Okay, I'm just going to double check to make sure that her stuff is set up. Let me double check our guest. Local files. Write everything correctly. Local file set up. Yep. You start playback. Yep. Yeah, like I said, the crazy thing is I can hear you fine. Yeah, I can. Like I said, the crazy thing is I can hear you fine. there is you know what, that there is I apologize everybody something that I can do real fast.
Okay.
I apologize everybody on this. We're gonna get this fixed. I promise you that. Let's see here. And I see the properties for it. And I see the properties for it on my end. I do not see your audio moving, which is really strange. Because normally audio moves pretty common.
Now I'm not on the stream. Oh, there we go.
Let's see here. Right, and it's popping in and out too. I don't know what's going on right now. Right, and it's popping in and out too. I don't know what's going on right now. This is weird. But I have our tech guy on the back end right now looking through this as well. I have our tech guy on the back end right now looking through this as well. So
okay,
you're not gonna miss it. Okay. Okay.
I could. Let's see. Here's what I could do.
How about now? Can we hear everybody? Oh, I see what happened. How about now? Can we hear everybody? Oh, I see what happened.
Hello.
Interesting. Okay. There was an audio adjust.
I'll just talk to everyone through.
Hey, we can hear it now. Awesome. Problem. Hey, we can hear it now. Awesome.
We can hear me now. Wonderful. Because if I was going to have to write out that whole interview in cue cards,
that would have been. That would be silly.
Real quick, we're going to restart for a moment.
Amber, real quick, we're going to restart for a moment.
Yes.
Amber, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes. Oh, goodness. Okay. If we're going to start there. So I am a writer, started out with short stories, had some short stories published, but have always had a love for games, love for tabletop. And so then started doing some work with small indie companies and eventually made my way into writing for Paizo, which was like, it just, I don't even know.
That's
amazing. I don't even know. Like the gods were on my side that day. But ended up getting a job with Paizo to write, not a job, but a freelance opportunity. So wrote with them. And then from there, things have kind of like snowballed into, I got to write a script for Kobold Press. I've done some writing with Gooeycube. And now, while I still have some connections to be able to do freelance TTRPG writing, I have focused this last year to trying to get my own things published, just so that I have some of my own portfolio, outside of other people's IP. So I have a Krampus adventure, which is very soon to be published this year. And then I have a game that started out as like British Bake Off meets D&D, but then it kind of very quickly veered away from D&D because everybody it just kind of felt like the cozy was not everybody's vibe. They wanted chaos, and then the mechanics started flipping into more of a board game mechanics. So I'm now kind of putting that a little bit on the back burner until I get some help from folks who have published board games to help me with this. So that is probably next year. And then the big thing that I'm hoping to publish, which is not going to be this year, but will be next year, is Liquid Hot Magma, which is essentially AD&D Tomb of Horrors meets 60s international spy, James Bond, Austin Powers, over the top, throwing your shoe weapons, things like that. And that has turned out to be so much fun. I'm getting a lot of good feedback, but it is turning out to be a much bigger project than I had envisioned it to be, like a 20-page RPG that I would put out, and it's 80 pages right now and nowhere near done.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's going to be a big one. And I can see a lot of potential, and I can see avenues for me to continue this with other volumes. So it's going to be a big one. So that's going to be next year. So those are my indie projects. And then outside of that, I do a lot with conventions. I'm building out Pacificon, Game Expos, RPG programming right now. So that's happening in September. So I'm doing outreach to build. They have a lot of wargaming and board gaming, but they want more tabletop. And so, outside of Pacificon, I've done support for MagmaCon. I do support for a lot of conventions because that's kind of my, I don't know, that's where I'm going to plant my flag, is like people need to go to more gaming conventions. And
Heck
so
yeah.
whatever I can do to help that, I support a lot of gaming conventions. What else? I'm streaming.
You got the cruise coming up.
Oh, that's right. I do have the cruise. I forgot to re-mention that, but in a couple of weeks, I am going on a tabletop gaming cruise. We are going to be going to Ensenada, Mexico. It is going to be me and one other guy who has the record for like running the largest D&D game in the world, and then a New York Times bestselling horror author. And so the three of us are going to be running a bunch of games for a bunch of folks on a cruise. It's going to be amazing. And then so I'm also currently streaming this year. Right now it's a bunch of like co-working writing streams. I've learned this year that's what's really helped my productivity, is being able to co-work, because I work from home and I need that kind of little bit of social interaction for like the motivation. I need to feel like people are watching me work. And so I stream that. And it's crazy. I didn't even think that would be a thing that people enjoy, but there's a whole community of streamers out there that do just that. And so alongside that, I'm hoping to start streaming me writing my first novel. Right after this cruise is when I'm planning on starting. So I'm writing a LitRPG. The first chapter got me a scholarship to a writing retreat, and then it just kind of sat on the back burner for a while because I've been doing all this game stuff, but I want to get back to writing fiction. Yeah. So just so many things. And next year I'm going to be going to a million conventions. So very, very busy.
I wish you the best of luck. Conventions are exhausting.
They are. Well, they are also because like I shrivel when it gets dark outside. Like I want to go to bed at 5 p.m.
Yep.
and everybody wants to stay up until like 2 a.m.
It's definitely the case. I tell people I go to conventions, I go crazy for 4 days, and then I hobbit for a month. Like I've got to recharge myself. It's so much out of you. Well, let's kind of dig into some background on this then, because you've done a lot. You're doing a lot. You've made it in this industry very well.
Thank you.
And there's always a beginning to this, because everybody's going to want to know, where did this all come from?
Right.
So what was your first experience with tabletop? Like how did we get from, we're now a professional author, we're a professional game writer, all this stuff, to day one, Amber rolls her first set of dice?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, I wish there was like camera eyeballs so that I could like take you back, like bloop, bloop, into the Wayback Machine, and you can see what this looked like. So I have a friend who is my forever DM. He's the one who runs games for us. We're currently in the game that we're playing right now. We've been playing for over 10 years. Same group of friends, same DM, same characters from level 1. We're almost at level 20. Like it's very special, this group of friends. And this DM, he's been a friend of mine even way before that. And so my very first game was 3E. I think it was right before 3.5 came out. And I had heard about it. I'd heard him running these games, but I was also a very young mom. I had a son at 17. So that was also kind of the time frame when I had to focus on being a mom. I couldn't go and stay out, and play D&D. But because they were friends, they were like, just like bring your kid or, whatever, So he said, here's what you're going to do. I work at he had some kind of like a construction job. It was like an overnight gig that he was doing. He's like, I'm just going to bring all my D&D books. We're going to sit in my truck. We're going to roll your character. And so I rolled my first character at a construction site.
There you go.
And then we started playing. And from that moment, I was hooked. So yeah, it's just played ever since. And then it was about the time my son was 8 when I started feeling confident enough to try running games. And I don't know if this is very common. I've heard people say like, teach your kids how to play, and your kids are the least intimidating people they're going to be the least critical about how you're running the game, I would think. So it felt like a very safe way to try to learn how to DM. And then from there, then I just started rolling people in, and then the rest is history.
The rest is history. So it was, your first set of dice was rolled in a construction site.
Yeah.
And then you said you were hooked.
Yeah.
What was it about Dungeons and Dragons, or what was it about tabletop in general that hooked you?
So here's the thing. You talk
this
about
is a virus we live in. Like,
it is
I tell people all the
virus.
time, I hate to say this, but like, it's an infection. You play tabletop
First one's
games,
free.
and then you never stop. Like,
Yeah. So for me, here's the thing. It's something that I've really taken time to reflect on in my later years, but I have always had this writer in me that I never knew about until my kids were old enough that they didn't need me anymore, and I could start kind of like taking time to explore my own hobbies. And I mean, I remember writing stories as a kid. I went to a creative, all this stuff that I did as a kid, storytelling, but no one ever told me that you could make a job out of it. No one ever supported it in that way. They were like, oh, creative stuff is fun as a hobby. That's not your job. You can't go get a degree in accounting, which is what I did.
Yeah.
And so now in my adult life, I start doing more creative things, and then there's this whole other thing I could go on a tangent about. But my current day job, we go into large corporations. We give them assessments. Like, I don't know if you know what the MBTI is, but it's like Myers-Briggs. We're going to tell you your personality. So anyway, there's this one particular assessment called Working Genius, and it tells you, like, these are the things that when you do them, time flies. And if you can lean into those things, you can make yourself a very productive person. That's the essentialness of this assessment. So I take this assessment, and it's the person who created the assessment essentially was like, yeah, Amber, that's not you. You didn't take this assessment correctly. Think about what you really like to do, not what you have to do for your job. So, and I was trying to figure out where he was leading me with this, because he knows me and I didn't even know myself at the time. And what he was saying was, Amber, you are a very creative person. And if you tapped into your creativity, you could go places. But I was always told that my creative side was not worth anything. Go do accounting, go be a doctor, whatever is going to pay the money. And so once I started
group that we
right. So once I started leaning into the fact that, like, oh, this thing that I think other people like, they told me it's not worth anything, but it really is. And if I start seeing it that way and treating it that way, other people will treat it that way, you know? So it changed a lot for me. And so all that to say that when I rolled my first character and started playing D&D, the storyteller in me was like ravenous and was like, oh, my character has a whole backstory. It's 10 pages. And there's this bad guy. By the way, every time I create a bad guy in my backstories, my DM, I swear to God, he always takes it. And that ends up being the BBEG because of how much I have built around. I flesh it out. So that's where my stories live. And I had a chance to like live it out. And people were interested in my stories. And so that's where the bug bit me.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because it's very common for those of us that are in our, I wouldn't say later years, but we're in our middle years. Mm-hmm. We were all told as kids, it's a hobby. My dad still tells me, I don't know what you do. He's like, it's a waste of money. It's all this. And I was like, Dad, it's not a waste of money, first off. Second off, I'm in a very similar mentality as you because I work with numbers all day.
Yeah.
We do security assessments all day long. And I'm like, I need something in my brain that allows me to be creative. It allows me to use the other side of my brain because, and then I realized it was a therapy thing and all that stuff. So it really just kind of fell back into place. But similar to you, I started playing and then life got busy and I realized I lost something I really wanted back. And then I came back to it.
Yeah.
And now that you have adult money, now you can do it as long as you want. Like,
exactly. You can't take away my toys. I paid for this.
Yeah, exactly. And now my toys get more expensive because now I'm like, but I want the really nice ones now.
Yeah.
So, and then it took you 8. So, what was that like to that first experience stepping to the other side of the screen now?
You mean to DMing?
To DMing. Like, how did you
So
feel that first moment?
it was terrifying. The very first moment was terrifying, but what really helped was knowing, like, well, he's my kid, he's not gonna yell at me. So, but then, and of course, everything I do is gonna be amazing because I'm his mom, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but, uh, what really what I remember feeling was that I had so much more control over the story instead of playing a character
Uh,
where, as a character, you want to be able to allow other people's backstories
mhm,
to shine, and share the
right.
limelight and all that. But as the DM, like, it's all your world.
It's
You
mine.
are God. But no, what I really, really enjoyed was if I had characters or if I had players who at least gave me a little inkling about their backstory, um, and allowed me to run with it. I really, really enjoyed trying to tie the backstories to the larger world and
Mm.
trying to reel them in with, like, something really personal, because then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, "Oh, remember that guy that was your rival back in the day?" Like, you see him walking down the street, and all of a sudden, they're like, "Son of a bitch," and they go
They
running off,
run
like,
after
and
it.
and that is the best moment to me. It is so gratifying to know that, like, I hooked them, and they went for it, and they love it, and they're excited about
Yeah.
it. So that part of DMing, is just my favorite thing, is tugging on people's heartstrings and knowing, like, they're in it. They're
Yeah.
in it, and I did that.
And I did that. It's my
Yeah,
job. That's what I did. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. We call that in our table the kicking down the door moment. So it's like if things get really, really quiet at the
Yeah,
table, they're like, and or everybody's bickering trying to figure out what the next step is. Like we
yeah,
always have a kick down the door moment where it's like, oh, this happens immediately. You
yeah.
have to figure out what to do. Um, and that's some of my players' same things. They're like, oh, what is that? Or like you said, quick way to derail an entire campaign is to send
Mhm.
the rival of a player. He's like, the world is ending. Yeah, but that guy's right there. I'm
Yeah.
killing him first.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Go for the person, like, go for
The
the
personal
heartstrings.
pull.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, and then we can say at this point the rest is history, right? Like you hit it, you GM'd, and then now you're everything under the sun when it comes to the TTRPG space.
I don't know about everything under the sun, but yeah. I
You
mean, there's
go to
there's
cons, you go to
definitely
trips. It's a
yeah,
lot.
there is I do a seminar at some conventions that where I feel like it's a fit, and we talk about, like, how to get a job in the game industry because
Yeah,
there are I don't want to I mean, there's tips and tricks. Let's just say that, like, I hate to say tricks. Like, you're not tricking people to get
yeah,
into the game industry, but there's tips that I think definitely help because I'm friends with so many people
yeah.
who I'm friends with an author who has written like 60, 70 books. He has a stack of books that he has written that is almost as tall as he is, and he
Nuts.
is not successful in the sense that he wants to be, right? He's
Right.
not selling books. And it's that thing, especially when you're a creative, that, like, well, if I just keep grinding, like, someday it's gonna happen. And it could it could happen, but I do think that there are some things you can do to
Mhm.
help along, to help your process.
Absolutely. And one of those things, of course, is getting out.
Yeah.
Like I never would have imagined the stream we have right now and being able to have the highlights with all these people. But if it wasn't for conventions, that's kind of where most of this stemmed from.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
because I would go
conventions
to
are key.
cool conventions and I'd meet amazing people. And I'm like, do you want to come on my show and talk more? And they're like, absolutely. And I'm like, oh, this was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, networking is huge.
It is. It's
And it
absolutely.
is a skill a little bit.
Yeah. I'm still learning the skill portion of it. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Not
I
great.
just I just smile and I go tee and hopefully people go, "Oh," and they just jump on whatever I want to do.
There you go. Um, so then let's start talking about kind of how people can what are some tips and tricks you would have as a game master
Mhm.
for brand new game masters?
Wow. It's easier said than done. My first thought was, well, don't sweat the small stuff, right? Like once you really get on that other side, and you probably know, like all the things that you were so worried about are things you don't really need to worry about, right? So let's take that advice and throw it away, because that's advice that, like, it's easier said than done.
Absolutely, 100%.
Then my advice would be to really, if you're not comfortable with your what's the word I'm thinking of? Not ad hoc. When you are on stage and you're just doing things unplanned. What's that
Improv.
called? Improv. Thank you. If you don't feel comfortable with improv, to find ways to practice it and get better at improv, because that is essentially the thing that is going to make everything feel
Natural.
easy and natural. Yeah, because it is a given that something will happen that you didn't plan for. You could read and read and read and prepare, and something's going to happen that you didn't plan for. And so what you need to do is find ways to recover quickly from whatever it is that they threw at you. So that would be my number one advice. I have a friend who actually takes improv classes just for fun. And I've had him run me through some improv exercises, and they are, you'd think that it's just something that like it's just a natural skill, but you can totally hone this thing. And when he was throwing these exercises at me, I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. And it was so hard. It was so hard to do it in the moment. I want to overthink. I want to give the right answer. And it's like, no. First thing off the top of your head, go,
Right.
So getting more comfortable with that is the best advice I can give.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. We kind of, and it's weird though, because we definitely glamorize the game now with live plays, with celebrity games, things like that. It's glamorized.
It feels like there's a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of those things, like you said, for improv is the ability to be comfortable when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's really what you're worried about. That's what your goal is to be able to feel it, or to be able to make it natural feeling of, oh, I didn't plan this.
Right.
And there's ways to prep for that too. I mean, surprisingly enough,
Yeah.
modular prepping is very, very helpful.
And I don't know if this is like a secondary piece of advice or if it is like in conjunction with, but especially when it comes to combat, right? There are people who are very strict about running things rules as written. But I do feel, and maybe this is because of the wave of people coming into 5e, and 5e plays very differently. But I feel like TPKs and the danger of your character dying, there's more emotional investment in these characters lately.
Absolutely.
I think in this stage of TTRPGs, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can be willing to throw some of those mechanics out the window during combat and be flexible, not just it's not to save a player or to force a TPK. It's more about having control over the narrative so that everyone is having fun, because the whole point of playing is so everyone has fun.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in the light of sticking to the rules, or in the moment, because we're just so enraptured with what's happening, like we don't have time to think, we don't have time to pivot. But if you can take that moment to feel comfortable and just pivot because the narrative needs it, I think then everybody can have more fun.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. It almost feels like then why care about the rules? Like, I mean, the rules are there, but they're guidelines.
Correct.
Yeah.
More like pirates.
Yes.
More like guidelines.
Yeah.
And I think that's that was a good understanding of kind of what we as game masters are looking to do in this new, because D&D and tabletop games have moved so far away from their initial creation of being a war game. Like,
yeah,
we know this because of everything that we've been written by first edition and stuff. It was written as a war game with story elements, and then slowly moved less war game and more story element.
Right.
But I still laugh though, because if you think about it, 5th edition is not supposed to be a combat driven game. However, 75% of the book is combat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it explains. 75% of the book is combat.
Yeah, they don't give you rules around how to like work with narratives and people and
Now I will say 5.5 did do better at that. I know a lot of people are giving flack on 5.5, but a lot of the game masters that wrote or that put their effort into 5.5 were utilizing those mentalities of what they're seeing on live streams, what they're seeing with newer players, things like that. So who's to say?
Yeah.
You have your version. I have mine. It is what it is. It's kind of a thing. What version or what game are you playing on the cruise? Are you doing 5 is it 5? 5e?
Well, no. So on the cruise, I am running liquid hot magma.
Okay.
Well, so here's the thing. So they were saying, Amber, you probably shouldn't run like D&D games on the ship, because people have bought tickets to hopefully have you run a game, and if you are running D&D, then like your availability becomes hard to get, right? So you need to try to find ways to play more games with more people. So I was like, okay. Well, liquid hot magma runs pretty fast, or it can. You can stretch it out. You can make it super quick.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll do that for the majority. But because I wrote for Pathfinder, and then the Pathfinder book just came out in July, I was like, what better way to kind of help promote the product, but also highlight like, hey, here's what I did with Pathfinder. So I wrote an adventure that was specifically highlighting the things that I contributed to that book. And so I just finished writing the adventure today, and I'm kind of putting the final touches on it so that I can send it to the printer. And so I'll bring all that with me. And I'm stealing something that I saw that Chaosium did, but I don't know if you saw recently on their socials, they did a map where they covered it in sand, and then they used like little brushes to like clear the pathway. And I'm like, it's a high seas adventure. Of course there's sand. Yes.
Yeah. That was a really cool idea for sure.
It was a really cool idea. So I'm stealing that idea, but I am using a Pathfinder map and an adventure that I wrote that includes all the stuff that I created. So one Pathfinder game, and then a bunch of liquid hot magma. But there's I think Dan's running, like, he's doing Daggerheart. He also has a D&D game. He has a couple games that I've never heard of them before, so I'm very intrigued. One sounds like a Spanish like telenovela kind of a thing.
Oh wow! Okay.
I'm super intrigued. We've got Blood on the Clock Tower. We've got a bunch of board games people are bringing. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So it's pretty much just going to be the three of you kind of hosting this event, and then everybody's just playing games all weekend, or
pretty much. And then we have the excursions. We're planning on doing some excursions together, and I had really grand plans of like trying to figure out a way to incorporate whatever they do on excursions to like have that impact whatever game I was running that night, but my brain just can't handle it all right now.
That's a lot. I know D3 at Sea does that, but they've also been doing this for a few years, so like you'll get the spin of it and whatnot.
Right.
So I guess what the next thing is you're talking about, because this is something I'm curious about, and it's not a tabletop, but it kind of is nowadays because of the blend between tabletop gaming and LitRPG. When we talk LitRPG, a lot of the times it's a one-person tabletop game is what I experience it as. Is that kind of what you're saying, like feel is as well?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely describe it that way. I mean, there may be extra characters, but really the story is kind of focused on a main character. Yeah.
But what I meant, I guess, would more so it's not a collaborative writing experience. It is a one-person writing.
Yes. Yeah.
So okay. Because it was always a curiosity for me, because everybody's like, oh, I'm going to write this lit RPG. I'm like, well, why do you call it a lit RPG and not just fantasy anymore? Like, what is the difference?
So the difference, this is why, if you watch a lot of anime, you'll probably have seen this. Yeah. Oh, what is it? Sword Art Online, right? So the premise of a lit RPG is that the main character starts in a quote unquote normal world, whatever their normal is. And then something happens and they are now shunted into a game world that has game mechanics.
Okay.
And so then the rest of the story is them usually like figuring it out, leveling up, trying to escape, all that stuff. And that's essentially what LitRPG is. But there's always a change from the norm to now we're in the
now in the game. Okay. I grew up, those were called izakais. They weren't called LitRPGs.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
But I think there's difference because one's an anime and one's...
I wanted to write... all the D&D games that I had been in or that I had run, I wanted to write them as novels for the longest time. And everybody said, you can't do that. No one's going to publish that. No one's going to read that. And then all of a sudden, Dungeon Crawler Carl becomes a big thing. And everybody's like... and so here I am. I'm like, I have ideas. I have
ideas. I have them. I promise.
You told me not to write it. So now that's why I'm jumping on it. And I'm like, I'm just going to write this thing.
Heck yeah, do it. Yeah. I look forward to seeing what that looks like. Because like I said, I think for, that craze hit so hard, ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
And it kind of
just goes to show that people don't know what they like. You tell me you don't like that, but as soon as everybody somebody you trust puts it in front of you, you're like, oh, I like this.
Yeah. I had that same exact thing happen from a buddy of mine from a previous job. I had posted something about Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I immediately got a message on social media. Like, I told you about that like 4 years and you wouldn't even take the time to look at it.
Yeah. People feel very strongly about it. Right,
we were in a different world at the time, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't in the mood to read or listen to art, listen to stuff. So, well, speaking of LitRPGs, we're going to dive into one right now as the monster is about to attack.
Oh, no.
As long as I can pull up my audio sounds and we don't get a weird sound. There it goes. Turn down your mic. Yeah, everybody, the monster has arrived, and tonight our monster is what?
Are you wanting me to say it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If you haven't heard about the false Hydra, you probably have heard about it before and you just don't remember.
Yeah, I'm truly going to be honest. The false Hydra is one of the ones that I've heard things about, never used. Never really dove into the story of it. So we're going to break it down tonight because it's going to have to help. You're going to have to help me with this thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe y'all go Google false Hydra and go take a look. If you're not squeamish, go take a look at what that thing looks like. It is wild. It is like a mush of, you hear Hydra. So obviously it has multiple heads, but it's like if it was a blob of worm and then each worm had like a human head and then there's like hands sticking out of it. It is horrific. It is just horrific looking. But alone that already had my heart because I'm a huge horror fan.
There you go.
So anything that's just completely terrifying and gross and to the extreme, I love. But my introduction to it was through my DM who ran it so well. So let's talk about this. If you don't know what it is. All right. It is not an official creature. It is like a community created D&D monster, or I think like someone else, I don't know, I don't quote me. Someone published it and then people it's kind of like the Backrooms. People kind of started building on it, creating their own versions, right? And it is essentially a creature that it has this song that it sings. And if people hear it, it forces them to forget about the false Hydra. And so essentially, it can live and grow. It usually typically live and grows in a town where it can start feeding off of these people, right? And if you see it and it sings at you, like you just forget. It can steal your wife, it can steal your best friend, it can steal your kids. You could lose your mom and dad, and then like you would totally forget that it ever happened. You'd be like, where's my mom and my dad? But like, I don't know what happened to them, right?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It's terrifying. You're absolutely right.
Terrifying, and I love that. And then I think like I said, there's different versions out there, but I believe I saw a version out there where if you get eaten by the false Hydra, then like you pretty much completely cease to exist. Like no one will ever remember that you ever existed.
Yeah, it's really, that part's really weird too. Yeah.
Yeah. So aside from the fact that it just looks, it's got this pale fleshy body and like serpentine neck and multiple heads, and it's horrifying to look at. But then just imagine you're a party and you somehow come across this, or it comes across you,
Right.
and it grapples your friend. So essentially anything it is holding as well, or like if it was wearing anything,
Yeah.
it becomes part of this Hydra, where if it forces you to forget, then you can't see what it's wearing. You can't see what it's holding. So if it's holding your friend, you're just like traveling with your party, and then you're like, hey, where'd Bob go? Oh, I guess he walked off. I guess we'll just keep going.
Oh, I guess we're going to keep moving.
And he's just snagged by the Hydra. So that can happen. And then these things can grow and grow and grow. So imagine if there was one that grew to like the size of a city and no one knows for 5 miles. It's a 5-mile radius. No one knows it's there. This city could be a grand city and only have a populace that fills like 10% of the city, and no one is questioning why. They're just like, oh, this is normal. We just built a big city. Like
a great city, and
yeah.
John's got 3 houses. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. So my introduction to this creature, so good. So, and I know I'm going to remember some of the details wrong. I'm going to tell you the ones that I remember the most. We ended up in this town, and we were in a tavern, and I remember specifically, there was something about the specials on the board, and there was something that indicated that the tavern keeper, like, he doesn't run this business alone. Like, he runs it with his wife. And so we were asking like about the wife, and then he was like, who? And so we were like, huh, okay. I mean, the tavern does say like, it's like Bob and Wife Tavern. Like, that's the name of the tavern or something, right? And we're just like,
but
where's the wife?
Name is this, so where's the other person?
Right? So then we were trying to drill down, like, but you have a wife, right? Like, why would you name your tavern and then not? And he's like, I don't know. And so then I started looking. I was like, does he have a wedding band on? And the DM was like, yeah, you know how people have those tan lines, like from having. He's like, he has a tan line, but no band. And so I was like, okay. So I'm trying to point that out, like, but why do you have this? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I had this ring, and I'm like, I don't even know why I have it, so I just threw it away. And I'm like, what's going on?
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
So it all led to that, his wife was eaten. Like, he had no memory that he ever had a wife. Oh, it was horrible. And then we finally find this creature, and I almost got eaten by this creature. Ooh. I was in its throat, and luckily I don't think I remember doing the final, like, how do you want to do this? I think someone else did it, and they like cut the throat, and I like popped out, and they were like, oh, there you are. Like, they didn't know where I was.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because you technically didn't exist at the moment.
Yeah. Well, no, I think at the time when we were fighting it, we did kind of figure out, like, during the fight, that we needed to plug our ears.
Okay.
And so some of us had stuff in our ears.
Okay.
And so I know there was if you can't hear the song, then you're not affected by that in particular. Right. So, like, there were some of us that remembered what was going on. But I almost got eaten. And if I'd gotten eaten, I would have completely ceased to exist. That would have been a whole new character. I would have been really bummed. But yeah. So it was just, oh man. Such a cool.
Speaking about this, because this is something that really does come into play, especially in a game like 5e, where you've put, especially in games like yours, where you've been playing for, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
What what implications like can happen to a party when a player dies? Like this, or worse, how do you as a party comprehend as players that this person no longer exists? So like what memories disappear actually from this creature?
Yeah.
Like can you
Yeah.
imagine if
That
7
is
years of time frame in every single battle, your character, whatever they did, just does not exist?
I mean, that would have been really difficult to not like mess up or even have meta knowledge about,
Yeah.
right? Because as it is, we have one character who like we went to the Feywild for a while and then they failed their role and so they forgot about everything that happened during it was just one of
Yeah.
us that forgot about it. And even that one little detail like we constantly forget about and he's like, but I'm not supposed to remember what happened, remember? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So like imagine having to erase like a person, a character from like 7, 10. I mean, we're playing 10 years now, but
Yeah.
you know, I would wow, as a DM that would just be so hard. I think if it were me, I would have to just find very key moments where like that particular character shined. Like that's the memory that everybody goes, "Oh, do you remember when that character did this?" Gone.
Nope.
Like that. Because it would be so hard to just choose every single moment, but at least if you
Yeah.
could focus on a few key ones, that really drives it home.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Because I mean, it is a big thing that we talk about nowadays. Because some tables, and this still boggles my mind, but that's because I'm old school. Um, they don't allow death at their table, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, how is that? Like, how is there no risk? How is there no reward type feel?
Right.
But they just don't want to deal with that emotional hit
Yeah.
of losing a character.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I can right. This is such a hard subject because
it is.
yeah, I mean, there are definitely valid reasons why people don't want to deal with death when it's supposed to be a fun game, right? I get that.
Right.
And oh gosh, my brain is like so many different ways to take this topic. But there are ways to handle like I can't imagine being right now I'm level 19 going to level 20 and then my DM's like, "Well, your character died. You don't get to go to level 20." Like out of everyone and we've been playing for 10 years. So
Yeah.
I know that he's got to have some guardrails in place. But I mean, I'm purposely not going to like take the meta of like, well, my character can't die.
Right.
Um but yeah, I would just encourage people. It is if you have the bandwidth to deal with death in your game, it is so fun. Think of it what I tell people, like, in the game that I'm running, Liquid Hot Magma, like, I have to frame it as, like, you're probably gonna die. You're probably so what you need to think about here is the funnest way that you can die. Like,
Right.
if you die by someone throwing a shoe to your head and then, like, you kick back this chain of events, like, and that's a glorious death, like, you make it fun,
Yeah,
make it
absolutely.
awesome or make it fun, and I don't know, yeah.
Yeah. No, you actually brought up a really good point though, is like when we play games for like cons or we play short like one shots or small adventures, the motion of death becomes more almost like a spectacle, right?
Yeah.
Like how amazing can I make my death if I have to die?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then the longer the game goes on, the less that becomes a spectacle because you're like, if I have to die, I want to make it epic. However, I don't want to die.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
um,
especially yeah, the more time you spend with your characters and like I said, level 19 going into level 20, I can't imagine my DM would do that to me, but
yeah. But then again, like how momentous would that be though?
yeah.
Of at the end, this big the BBEG, and and only 2 of the 5 of you make it out.
Actually, yeah, I and this is probably partly due to my character design, but yes, I would do that. I would. If that was something that comes up at the, BBEG and I need to die in order to make this thing happen, like, oh that would be awesome. And it would totally fit. I will tell you right now. So my character is one of those like, oh God, this most tragic backstory ever. And I'm going to tell you all, if you plan on playing a character like long term, like I have for 10 plus years, do yourself a favor and don't create one with as tragic a backstory when you're in your feelings, because I feel like there were definitely years where like I was depressed almost, like, because everything was dealing with, like, she had so much death in her backstory. She went mad. Like, there was a character who came in that I basically assumed was like my dead fiance. And then now I'm actually faced with my dead fiance and I got to kill him again. And like, there's just horrible things that I had to do and put myself in these really dark places. And definitely going in, like, I don't know. I'm just all that to say that if she had to die at the end, it would definitely fit her story and would be awesome. It would be so awesome.
Yeah, I think there's moments where a game master has the ability to create an epic moment with death.
Yeah.
But for a character to just die for no reason, that becomes the fail.
And that's where I go back to the like DM tips. Feel free to be flexible when it comes to mechanics. If you're about to kill someone's character for no reason because they made a stupid mistake or because they forgot about this tactic or, you know, whatever it is, like, that's.
I'm glad my players aren't in here though, because some of the stuff that we've almost killed players for was ridiculous.
Well, hey, you know, but if you're friends or if you know each other well enough, like that kind of stuff is permissible, you know, like.
Well, and we don't play D&D anymore. We play Shadow Dark, which is a lot more gritty, darker game anyways. And I'm still learning some of the monster abilities. Well, one of the monsters bit one of our players, and without me reading what it said, it said the character drops to 0, has 1 death save left.
Oh no.
I was like, ooh. About that. Mind you, best save I've ever seen happen in a game. So
those moments they make the game.
Well, I bought all my players dice for Christmas because they're all my home table, and the dice were mostly random bag boxes. One of my friend's daughters got the one that says "F you, F me" on it as the dice for her.
Yeah.
And she was the one that got bit.
Oh no.
And I was about to torture. I mean, I was about to terrorize a 16-year-old girl by killing her character off. She was already had, and she's very much like you, so she's got this 10, 12 page backstory written up already, and we're only level 3. I was like, and I was like, all right. I was like, we've got 1 roll, and everybody was trying to get to her, and everybody kept missing abilities to get to her and stuff. So the whole party tried to help her, and it just didn't work. She rolled it, and immediately she looked at me and she pointed that at me, and it said "fuck you," and I was like, "Hey, the dice tell an amazing story."
Yeah,
everybody like cheered. I wish I would have gotten that part on video.
That's
awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, my son did that to me. So more recently, you know, my younger son, he's 18 now, but when he was about 13. He wrote a backstory for his character where he had a wife and a child and they died, that kind of a thing. And I was like, dude, you're like, how old? Like, why are you writing this horrible backstory for yourself? So as the DM, I was like, no, they're not dead. He thinks they're dead. They're not dead. I'm going to give him a happy ending. And yet, well, we haven't gotten to the end of that campaign. We were so close, but I just laughed. I'm like, you're 13, dude.
Yeah. Kids come up with the craziest stuff, I'm telling you what. So then for that type of an experience, how would you have handled something like that if they would have? Like, if you, or rather yet, how will you handle if one of your players, one of the other players in your team passes away? How was your character handle that?
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm understanding. You're saying if I'm the DM and one of my
players? Like the character you're playing right now in your big, long 10-year campaign, right? They don't make it to the BBEG yet, but they die in another way. how will that affect your character going forward?
Oh, that's really hard. So my character's had a pretty big journey from being very mentally unstable to finally getting healthy, actually forming an attachment with another character where we're kind of like dating, but it's weird. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things. But she's healthy enough to be in that position. Then she got faced with her dead fiance that she had to kill again. Like, and now we're headed to the BBEG. And so it just she's in a frame of mind right now where like whatever it takes to get to the BBEG. Now, if her friends die, that is so hard. I mean, there's no way she's not going to stop. She's not going to stop. I don't even know. I don't even know. This is such a hard question. I mean, literally she would die for them. So that would be the first thing. Like if I had to die to keep them alive before I get to the BBEG, then that would happen. But if that wasn't an option, I mean, she's just going to go dark. She's going to go dark again.
Yeah.
And then go to the BBEG.
So another question I have, and this is something that, because you've already stated it once, and I'm curious on this.
Mm-hmm.
When you built your character, you said you built your character with a 10-page backstory.
Right.
How do you build a level 1 character with 10-page backstory?
Man. Okay.
Because
so actually,
we're supposed to be coming in from a humble beginning to where we're at. Because,
right.
what a 10-page backstory is at level 1 compared to where the years and years, and books after books after books for this 10-year campaign.
Right.
What made the character still feel humble, but at the same time have that long backstory?
Right. Well, so I think of it this way. I mean, because like not all level 1 characters are going to be the same age, right? You could have a grandma be a level 1 character, and she still has had so much life. So, and that has affected who she is and the decisions that she'll make. And so for my character, so what it all started because my DM suggested to me, he's like, man, I would love if somebody played a character that like dual wielded chains. And I was like, that's badass. Yeah, I want that. And so I was like, okay, what kind of person would dual wield chains? Let me think about this. I mean, she'd have to be like an elite fighter or something. Like, who uses chains, Yeah. So I started thinking about it. And for some reason, like, I just started seeing this elven community and then having like their elite, like very elite section of like, let's say a band of 10 fighters that are trained to use these chains.
Okay.
But also, and I wanted it to kind of be like a wood elf, but I was like, but I don't want to be like just a standard wood elf. Like I want to be in the tundra in the north, like Viking kind of vibes, Viking elves, right? And then the chains start kind of, right? You were talking about God of War earlier, so all that kind of starts rolling up into each other. And so then I'm like, okay, so if we're up in the north, it's kind of like a tribal society. Okay, like nature and tribal. So then I started thinking about like just what the society looked like and like what we believe in. Like I just kind of went there. This is what I love to do. Like my brain was
so maybe the 10-page backstory wasn't the character, but the idea of everything around the character. So you're talking
the idea of everything around the character,
culture, the society that they were living in, all that stuff.
Yeah. But then so all that then boils down into, okay, well, so where am I starting off, right? If I'm an elite fighter and all this stuff, like how am I a level 1? Right. Well, then I gotta nerf myself. And how do I nerf myself?
How do you nerf yourself?
I went crazy because so this is where then I don't plan to create the BBEG. I'm just creating like my
your
rival, if you will.
Your problems.
And then my DM's just like, that guy's good. He's going into the story. But so I wrote this thing about where there was a guy and an expeditionist and a crew that came in, and they wanted to go into some ruins up into the north. And so as part of the elite force, I was told by our leader to like, okay, go escort them because it's dangerous up there. And then they wanted an extra day, and I was supposed to bring them back, but I broke orders and I let them stay for an extra day. And because of that extra day, I come back and our entire village is like destroyed by ice giants, like frozen tundra giants. And my fiance was dead and my family was dead. And so from that, I basically went crazy because it was all my fault. If in my brain, it's like if I was there, this wouldn't have happened. But I broke rules and this is what happened. And then so I tell myself I went crazy. I went basically wandering the land, just not knowing who I was or, anything. And then eventually I kind of start remembering who I am, but I'm seeing the faces of my dead loved ones and other people. So when we started at level 1, I just randomly chose one of the players and I'm like, I think you're my fiance. And so he was just like, luckily we're friends, but he was just like, as a character, he was like, I don't know you. And I'm like, of course you know me, So I would just kind of keep acting off of that and like find ways for us to be alone and all these things. It was a little cringy, but we were friends. So he knew what was going on. But eventually then he just kind of turned into like my caretaker, like of he took responsibility. Like we didn't get involved or anything, but he was like, well, she obviously cares for me. I'm going to at least make sure she's not.
Yeah, she's safe and
she's
protected.
safe. And yeah. So that all that to say, that's where the 10 pages came from, was like, I want to have a badass backstory, but then I got to nerf myself. So that's how.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And a good way for people to think about it. Because a lot of people are like, I want to be Batman. It's like, yeah, but you got to be Batman when he first starts being Batman, not. But then you're like you said, or you have to find ways to nerf yourself so that it feels like you're still at that level.
And that was actually really great because I had this whole story in my head, and I even told the DM that because of what happened in my village, my entire purpose for going out into the world was to hunt down every single ice giant and kill every single ice giant, and that I succeeded. That's what I told him, right? But then at some point, I don't know what level we were at, maybe like 7 or something, we come across ice giants, and he just so I built her as a fighter so that I could have all the like the action surge, and she's a dexterous fighter.
Right.
And then we come across ice giants, and he's like, by the way, you see these ice giants, you are enraged. And he basically gave me rage. So then I was fighter barbarian, and I was like, oh, I love this. So then I built her out to be more barbarian after that.
100%.
You were so angry that you finally realized you didn't actually make them extinct. Like,
I'm pissed too. Don't get me wrong. Be curious. I think it's funny though, because that is similar. We did a one shot. My buddy's birthday was a couple weeks ago for 4th of July, and we did a one shot, and everybody's like, well, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? And everybody's like, well, let's all be orcs. I'm like, all right. So then we're like, well, everybody's going to take one level in barbarian so we can all rage at the same time. So like you had a cleric with 1 level of barbarian. You had a sorcerer with 1 level of barbarian. Like,
that's amazing.
I was a chronomancer with a level 1 barbarian. Like,
did you guys have like a similar way that you all raged out,
so
together?
Everybody had triggers, is what it was.
Oh, okay.
So as long as my hat didn't get burned, I was good. Like that was my biggest one, because I was the chronomancer, and we were but we were just. And then once they burned my hat, I was like, you realize that this doesn't help me in any way other than the fact that I can soak damage. As a wizard, this doesn't do anything for me other than soaking damage. But it was fun. So we had a good time.
That's awesome.
Well, for those that are still in the audience with us hanging out, and have hopefully had some good time conversations over here, it is happy hour, which means it's your opportunity to ask those burning questions you're always been waiting to ask. So drop those in the chat here, and we will answer those as they come in.
Yes, please. I love questions. Feed me questions.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts about the show. Is like my hope is that somebody that really is having a hard time with something in the tabletop, in their game, maybe it's their game master, maybe it's how they're playing a character, maybe they just are I don't know what to do with my character. Those are the questions I love, because we can help people continue to make better characters, or not better characters, but we help them where they're at.
Yeah. And I wanted to because this is the first time I've kind of looked over at the chat and seen what's going on. So Dr. Platorius mentioned about my regular games and that figures and models and stuff. So I do prefer in-person gaming, but when I do, I go all out, but
Same.
not with like I love Dwarven Forge stuff, don't get me wrong, but I'm cheap as hell. So I hate spending money if I have to. And so I will take literally trash and turn it into
That's awesome.
I mean, like styrofoam and paint and crafts and sticks and turn them into things. I have some pictures that I should have thought to share in advance, but yeah, it's apparently they turn out really good. So it's a lot of fun. I should probably do that on my channel sometime. It's like talk about how I build cheap terrain. I don't know.
Absolutely. I used to have a good friend of mine, Ashlyn. She's the Dollar Store GM, and that's what she does.
Dollar Store GM. That's a great name.
Yeah, Dollar Store DM. Yep. That's what she's been for years now. But that's what she does. She'll go to the dollar store. She'll for a while there they were doing build battles where she was building, and it's like, okay, we're doing this terrain this week, and then they would literally come up with ways to make things. She's done a couple workshops at PAX Unplugged where they would make monsters out of pipe cleaners and foam and all that.
What I would highly suggest doing sometime just for fun.
Yeah.
Especially during Christmas time, right? Probably Christmas time when you're ordering a lot from Amazon.
Yeah.
But when you open those packages, and sometimes things are packaged with like the weird shaped foam or like weird shaped cardboard to like protect the package. I swear, sometimes I just pull it out and I'm like,
that's a dungeon.
If I just cut this right here, like that's an igloo. Yeah. Or like,
absolutely.
This is a sewer pipe, so I just kind of look at the packaging from Amazon and I immediately see something, and then like it inspires me to create something. I was going to see, I don't know if you can see it up there. Let me see if I can. So there's some cardboard up there.
Okay.
That's not great, but there's this right up there in the corner, in the far corner. Cool. So that is some styrofoam. What I did was I created that one right there. So I created a vertical climb up into like a mountain, and then like this corner pops out. But so we had to create like skill challenges. So that's just plain old styrofoam that I like painted.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, this one too. Yeah. So this was a lighthouse. But it was technically a mage's tower, but they didn't know it. But it was a lighthouse. Yeah. So styrofoam, man, so much fun.
Styrofoam, paint. Mm-hmm. We've kind of went overboard at this point because like we have the Dwarven Forge and we have
I do too. I have Dwarven Forge.
We have friends with 3D printers now that it just makes things so much nicer for me to have to build things.
It's so much nicer, but I had to stop. Like I have a 3D printer right here that you can't see. I had to stop because I would print things and then I would never paint them because painting apparently is a thing I don't love.
Yeah. We do paint nights because we have like 6 or 7 of us that all don't paint a ton, but we get everybody together.
Just to get her done.
Yeah. We knocked out, I think like 60 minis in a night because we were just especially if you get things like they're like war army painters like speed paints because you can just real quick put some brushing in.
Do you have like an assembly line where you're like, you paint the red, you paint the blue, you paint the white, just pass them down?
Well, I bought the fantasy kit from Blacklist Games years ago as part of like because I just needed monsters. And I was like, okay, and each one comes with 5 monsters each. So I was like, okay, well, we'll spray paint all the we'll prime all the monsters, and then we'll just line them up in a row. And whoever wants to play that monster can paint all those monsters at whatever sort of way they did. So we have some monsters look very similar to everybody else. Other ones, people were like, "Oh, we're going to go a little overboard on this one." I'm like, all right, whatever. But it goes on the table, and everybody's excited to see it on the table. So, Derelict Books says, improv is easy. Getting a group of 40 something together on a regular basis is the challenge.
It is. It is.
40 some people is a lot of people too.
Well, I was reading it as like a group of 40 somethings, like they're all 40 something year old.
Oh, I got you. That
Right.
that can be difficult.
Yeah.
Too.
So and I'm gonna talk about that because this is like, I don't know if it's a hot take, but it's a trigger for me. Let's say that. I see so many people wanting to play like every week. That is unsustainable, folks.
Yeah.
After when you have a wife and kids and commitments, it's unsustainable. So anyway, we play once a month, and that is hard. It's going to get harder next year when I start going to conventions more and more.
I feel that.
Yeah.
My friends, here's the way you get this to work.
Yeah.
You have to have everybody buy in. That's the only way this works.
It's the only way. And what we do is we say if one person, I'm a writer, I speak good. If one person is gone, we will still play the main campaign. Yeah. If more than one person is gone, then if we're still getting together, we'll play test some other system or something. Yeah. But with one person gone, we will still proceed because otherwise we would not. This is why it's taken us 10 plus years to get to level 20. So
yeah, no, I mean, thankfully for us, it's 3 families, and we all surround the table, and then all the kids are playing in the other room outside of the table. But like, and it's weird though, because it makes me feel like it did in high school and college, because you're playing it becomes an event. It's not just you come over, you play a couple hours, you leave. No. Yeah. People get here at noon.
Yeah.
No, we don't leave until midnight. Like,
yeah. Kind of back in my heyday, it was 6 to 6. It was 6 p.m. and then it was 6 in the morning, and then I would go to work. Or it was the weekend, but I still had my son, so I still have to be a mom.
Be a mom.
Yeah. 6 to 6.
And then Derelict Books also says there's a cosplay group in the Chicago area called Trash Goblins. Their whole gimmick is they create all of their costumes from recycled, repurposed mats.
That's amazing.
That's really creative too. Like,
yeah,
for those of you that are of that creativity level, like, props to you.
Yeah.
I will stick with my Dwarven Forge. Part of the reason I like it though is because my kids build with it.
So they enjoy that.
Yeah. So like when we do because I'm usually the game master for our table, I don't usually put the maps together because a lot of our stuff is done completely improv because we decided that was how we were going to run the game this year, which is nice for me because I don't do much prep then. I just kind of write a couple of details down and we're good to go.
Yeah.
And we use a lot of...
I love homebrew.
We use a lot of random tables, things like that have been built, especially as it's built into the Shadow Dark setting books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when we have a counter, I'm like, I need a forest. So then I hand 4 boxes to these kids and I'm like, build
a forest. Oh, that's amazing.
I just kind of let it, whatever that shows up, and then they'll build about 90% of it. And then if I need certain pieces to be for a reason, then I'll be like, all right, let me move this here. Okay, good. Now we're ready to go.
Yeah.
But the kids, and normally the adults will get up and we'll like go to the kitchen and grab food, or we'll just talk for a little bit, and then we come back, the table's built because the kids
That's amazing.
Fun. So yeah,
it's a good way to get them involved too. I love that. So one of the things that I have done in the past, I work with Operation Literacy, and they do this thing called Teen Dungeon Boot Camp. So Operation Literacy is a whole 501c3 org. Their mission is to put a book into the hands of every child, and it's all about if they're not reading at grade level by 3rd grade, then it's this trickle down effect in society where it's, all that. Anyway, so they do this thing called Teen Dungeon Boot Camp, and essentially it's a summer camp for the kids to teach them how to play D&D and how to run D&D. And within a day, we have them up and running games.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. But what I love about that particular event is watching how creative the kids can get, because they're not coming with Dwarven Forge, right? And we're not providing it. We have cardboard assets and little tokens and cheapy things. And some of them will come with a erasable mat or something like that. But I have taken pictures of some of the creative setups they've done on the spot, because we'll provide like, construction paper and scissors and all
And
this
glue and all that.
crafty
Yeah,
stuff. And one of the kids had gummy worms. And so they created this whole encounter where they were dealing with worms. Yeah,
Worms.
the big giant worms coming up from out of the ground. And there was some other, they were all using candy essentially.
Of course it was. Yeah.
It was amazing. But I sometimes I look at adult tables and how they kind of stress over how everything looks, and I just want
Right.
them to look at these kids' tables and like, look at how much fun they are having.
Yeah.
You don't need minis. Go get yourself some gummy worms.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Not to mention the nice thing about stuff like that, and I remember doing this in high school, is like, if you're using tokens that are edible, as soon as those suckers die, they're now your
Right.
they're
How do you
now
want to
edible.
do this? Here.
I want to bite his head off.
Yeah.
Done. Good to go.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, I think convention games, you kind of get that feel a lot too, because like, you're not gonna lug. Some people do. Don't get me wrong. Some people do. Most people don't lug, 3 totes of terrain around at a convention game, and things like that. So there is a point of being able to immerse yourself in a game without having all of the immersion tools that you might have at a home table.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
you said, not everybody has that kind of creativity or money. I mean, either way, to be able to do something like that, you know what you need? You need a piece of paper and a pen, and that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
I can draw on a map.
Bring your
easily.
imagination.
Yeah, bring your imagination. You don't even need a map.
Well,
So
like when it came to running Liquid Hot Magma, I didn't even have, like, the very first time I ran it,
yeah,
I didn't have a map ready, but the gameplay itself lends itself to doing theater of the mind,
yeah,
so
theater.
it's but I remember the first time everybody's like, wait, we don't have a map, how will we know where we're at? And I'm like, trust me, we got this, it's gonna be good. And they had a great time.
We got this.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. What about, so as we're getting ready to wrap up here, we're almost done for the night. Continue to ask your questions too. We'd love to answer the questions.
Yes, please.
But the question I'm going to ask you is what is the next tabletop game that you are excited to play?
Oh boy.
What is a system you've been hoping to play, or a setting you've been hoping to play?
Okay, I'm torn because I really want it. I've already played Draw Steel, and
Okay.
I really enjoy it. So when you say, what are you excited to play next? I want to go back and play Draw Steel again because it was so much fun. But to say
It's one of the systems I haven't played yet.
Well, I mean, there's mixed feelings out there, obviously. I think if you go into it expecting it to feel like 5e, you will have some disappointment.
Yeah.
If you have played other systems or can let go of the fact that this isn't 5e,
right,
I think you'll have a lot of fun. The combat was so much fun. And I will say that the one person at our table that is constantly on his phone was not on his phone for 2 sessions in a row. Like, he was fully immersed and engaged. Like, that's the combat. Awesome. Anyway, all right.
Okay.
So, and I can keep talking about that. But if we're talking
about
one,
list. I'm gonna add that to my list.
If we're talking about one that I haven't tried yet, I have yet to try Daggerheart, and I really, really want to try Daggerheart a lot. I've heard so much about it, and sometimes I hear that my style of game writing sounds like it could fit in something like Powered by the Apocalypse or Daggerheart. And so, which I've actually never tried Powered by the Apocalypse either. So
none of the
it should be on my list, actually, since people tell me that I write like that maybe, I don't know, it's interesting. But if not Daggerheart, because I love everything that Brandon Sanderson does, I want to try the Cosmere RPG.
Those are right there.
Do you have it? Have you played it?
I haven't played it yet. No,
Okay.
I have the set. It's actually not the one I wanted, because I understand the Cosmere setting for the Stormlight, but I've never read the Stormlight books.
Oh my gosh.
I read, when I got into Sanderson, it was during the Mistborn series.
Right.
So I've read the Mistborn books. I haven't read Stormlight yet. So that's the next step, is I'm adding that to my
it's a hefty read. Hefty read.
I mean, I burned through all 8. So I started in February for the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
Yeah.
And I got to book 8 when it launched.
Wow.
So
dedication.
Audiobooks is like my jam when it comes to stuff like that, because I do a lot of traveling, either for conventions or for work. Yeah. So there's days where I'll get 6-7 hours of, sitting in the audiobook.
That's awesome.
Consistently. So yeah, and I was listening to the audio drama for Elantris, and then now I'm moving to Stormlight first, because I'm like, all right, I didn't finish that one, so we'll go to that one first.
Yeah.
Because everybody's saying Stormlight's where it's at. I'm like, all right, I gotta read this one now.
Yeah. So what really drew me and made me excited about the Cosmere RPG. So Brandon Sanderson did this thing. I want to say it was like November of last year, November of 2025. And I want to say it was Dragonsteel Nexus, but they ran a 400-person game of Cosmere RPG. And the big draw was Brandon said, okay, so I think it was 3. You haven't read the books, but they have these monsters that are like huge. Have you played Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine like the huge creature.
So like Shadows of Colossus type.
I guess I don't know why that's not ringing a bell.
It's an old school PlayStation game where pretty much you're climbing this massive creature.
Right. Okay. So imagine these huge. They call them chasm fiends.
Okay.
And then in the game, he said there's 400 people. Those 400 people will make 3 crews that will attack these chasm fiends.
Got it.
And he even gave them names, like, you're this kind of crew, you're this kind of crew, you're this kind of crew. Whatever happens in this game will become canon in my next book.
Oh, wow.
So everybody who participated, like, they made that happen. Whatever happened will be in his next book. And so
that's awesome.
Like, the marketing of that alone is just like, very
I mean, his marketing is insane. The amount of money that man makes in books is incredible.
Yeah. So, and then a way to get 400 people to be talking about your game and having such a great experience. Anyway, all that to say that I want to try it real bad.
That's another really cool thing that I want to try next year more so. I actually need to learn it early, because I'm running I'm doing the entirety for our tabletop organizing for a small con here in Virginia in November. And one of the things I want to run is an epic, because I want a multi-table adventure.
I do too. I want to try it.
I've only done one, and I'm trying to find enough people that have done one.
Yeah.
So if you can poke somebody for me, since we're going on that cruise.
Oh yeah.
I would just to get in, just to bug his ear for a moment, just so I can understand how to write these things, because that's really my main focus.
Well, so I mean, I can poke him. But he didn't write it, he ran it.
Yeah, he ran it.
I know the guy who wrote it. So I could try to connect you with him. I don't know how busy he is, but and
so the guy that ran it, is he the one that runs the game store there in Provo?
No, so the guy who runs the store, Andy, who runs the store in Provo, he is the organizer of the event. He wrote the adventure that everybody played. Yeah. And then Dax was the like head DM that ran it, because when you have a multi like table game like that, what they did was it was all in a mall, right? So they had like runners that would run information to all the different tables and collect information of like, okay, this section, your job is to scale the wall. So, they'll start collecting information, and your job over here is to stop these people from coming over here, So they all had different tables that had different jobs, and they would collect that data, bring that data to the stage, and then they would have moments where everything would kind of stop, and they would have actors on the stage, and they would have the DM on the stage saying, okay, we've collected all the data. Here's what happened. Those people, they did break through the wall. You were not successful. However, these people over here did this, and now this impacts the story this way. And so he was the one that was like running, kind of bringing all those strings together.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, you definitely need some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 10, like I said, we're going to do it in a small form first. But I'd love to do 6 tables working together to come up with some
Yeah.
final. So
That'd
I'd be
cool.
curious to see how those would run.
Well, I also not to like, but let me talk to you later. I have a resource that might be able to help you.
I like it. We are going to be wrapping up here in just a second.
Yeah.
What would you, and this is just always a good one to hit at the end here, is what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody if they were interested in getting into TTRPGs on a professional level?
Right. If I you're limiting me to one. If you honestly, the biggest piece of advice that I can give is that networking is so much more important than you think it will be. And you have to learn how to network organically and not force it, because people can feel when it's forced, and they will feel when you are not being genuine. And that is an immediate turnoff. And then you almost like just immediate ban. Like, so you have to find ways to network in a way that works for you. I know people who are like completely antisocial, hate doing the FaceTime, hate doing conventions. Then maybe conventions isn't the way that you network, but you will have to find a way to network within your own, however your system works, because networking, I think, is very important. People just, even if they don't realize they're doing it, will support a name that they recognize, a name that they know is dependable, that can deliver, that does a good job, that has a personality they like to deal with, So these are all things that it's so much more important than you realize. And that's the best advice that I can give you. So find ways to network organically and genuinely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think that's something that it's interesting. It's something I've talked about a lot. Is that when we talk networking, you networked at one point, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be sitting at a table with 5 other people playing this game.
Right.
This is not a writer's game. This is not a solo game. This is a game with people.
Right.
So however you work your magic to get those people involved, just expand that out to a professional level. You'll be fine.
Exactly.
Amber, this has been a blast. I've had such a great time talking. I don't want to shut it down.
I know. It feels like we're just having fun chatting and catching up. I love it.
Right? And we'll have more than enough time to catch up again. I'm sure you've got some conventions coming up next year.
Yes.
I've got to apply for Page. It'll be my first one for the year, most likely. So
yeah, so I'll see you there, hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a local one for me. So I mean, it's only a couple hour drive for me. So that's Page good. And PAX Unplugged are the 2 that I can actually drive to. Everything other one I had to fly to. Sometimes that's just not possible.
Yeah.
But for those that are looking forward to maybe playing at a game at one of your tables, where are you going to be in the next, after next year? What's some of the potential plans going forward?
So, because I am in California, the Pacificon family of events, Pacificon Game Expo, and the KublaCon family of events, those tend to be my main conventions, because they each have 3-ish conventions a year.
Oh, wow.
So this year I will have Pacificon Game Expo. They're also doing what's called they call it Board Games in a Barn, but it's it's just a little small convention. We just all get together at a barn and play games. But and then KublaCon fall. So that's the rest of this year. Then I will be at Page. I'll be doing virtual FrostCon in January. So there are some people who can't get out of their house, or they have immunocompromised systems, this is a way for you to get into a gaming convention and you never have to go anywhere. Even if you've never played before, then it's a great way to learn and you don't have to go anywhere. So I love to plug the virtual convention. I'm planning on going to Genghis Con. I will be at StoryCon. I'm going to be going to GaryCon for the first time. I'm super
It's such
excited.
a fun con.
Yeah, and I'm making plans to be at all the big conventions next year. Yeah. But really, if you want to know like which conventions I'm going to be at next, I have a link tree, and my link tree is pretty much the thing. Like if you go to my link tree, it links to everything I've ever done, everything I've touched, anything I've appeared on, any convention I'm going to, all of it. So if you ever want to know where I'm going to be next, then that's where you can go.
Awesome.
Thank you for putting that link out there.
Of course. Yeah. That's what we do for our guests. And it's wonderful, like I said, wonderful time to hang out with you tonight. For those that came in, this is the first time being here. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the subs, things like that. We really appreciate those, and they help us grow much better than you would expect. Here on the Misfits this week, we're a little quiet. Tomorrow night, my buddy will be back in here with either some mini painting or he's going to go back on a video game. We're not sure yet. He's in he hasn't decided yet. And then Sunday we return to Power Daddies, which is our Power Rangers TTRPG that we run on Sunday nights, and then
I gotta pop into that and watch it one time. Just the name alone is like
yeah. And the funny thing is it's canon information that happened because of something that happened on the show.
Really,
and it grew into now what it is now, which is ridiculous.
Amazing.
Due to some time stuff that you mess with in Power Rangers because of certain people's characters. You have to roll on a table, and one was they had to pick 2 words to change.
Mm-hmm.
So my wonderful gridmaster, Chuck, decided, let's let the audience choose these 2 words.
Oh, no.
And they chose...
You just handed the power over.
Yeah, and they chose Ranger and Daddy, and they swapped those words.
Daddy,
so that is how Power Daddies has become a thing, and now it is kind of out in the world. So
amazing.
We're now Power Daddies. So, and then Monday night we will be back in Icewind Dale for our ongoing Icewind Dale adventure in D&D. And then after that, you will not see me on this stream for a week. And the reason that is because I will be at Gen Con. So, but you will see the rest of the team off and on. And you'll see a bunch of stuff coming from social media while we're sitting there at Gen Con. We've got a bunch of stuff that's opening over there, including our first live play on stage. So we're excited.
Yay!
So, yeah, we're going to be playing some World of Darkness. I get to play a werewolf. It's awesome. So... thank you all for coming. Stick around for just a moment as we close down the stream where we go hang out with some friends as we raid them. So see you guys next week for another wonderful episode of Tavern Talk.